Good morning, everybody. My name is John Bermel. Currently, I am the Director of Security and Emergency Management at Carleton College, which is just down Highway 19 from here. It's about a 15-20 minute drive. Before coming to Carleton, I was a police captain in the city of Apple Valley for their police department. I worked in Apple Valley for 33 years. Retired in September 2018 and then started at Carleton in December of 2018. So I've been there for about 4.5 years. This topic is really, it's an important topic and I really like to pay attention to it. Done a lot of this type of teaching about just awareness and how to keep yourself safe. A couple things we aren't going to be covering today. I am not a self-defense instructor. So we aren't going to be getting up and doing jiu-jitsu moves or anything like that. I won't be teaching you what to do if you were to be confronted or attacked. I'll give you advice for how to handle that. But if you're looking for that type of training, I would just, I think it'd be a good idea to find somebody who's a professional and can come and teach that part. So I won't be doing that. The other thing is this is a personal safety to protect yourself against crime. So we won't be getting into some of the home safety stuff, like do I have the right steps and how do I get a accessible sidewalk or something like that. Not that type of safety. So that's really the guardrails. We'll be talking about the personal safety. Huge topic for me. I have a passion for this. Why is this important? For Goodhue County, 1 out of every 5 people is 65 years or older. That's 20% of your population is 65 or older. And if you look at the demographics in the state of Minnesota, that's growing. The number of people aged 65 or older is expected to grow from 920,000 to 1.5 million in the next 15 years. That's 38%, almost 39% growth in that age demographic. So if there's one thing in my years of law enforcement and my years of security that I've learned about people that want to harm you, they're opportunists. And when they start noticing that there's a whole different place that I can do fraud, I can steal, they're going to start adjusting their tactics to your age demographic that's growing. So it's very important that you understand what people might do to try to do some harm to you. So we're going to go through, I have a little slide presentation here. We'll go through it. We'll talk about some things at any point. If you have questions, great. We will have some time at the end for questions too. But I'm hoping that this is valuable for you and that you learn something here. First thing we're going to talk about is the crime triangle. So these are the 3 things that need to be present for crime to occur. A desire. So the person that wants to defraud you, do you harm, has to have a desire to do that. That desire comes from a whole variety of reasons. Some of it's a need, a lot of it's, I call it personality disorder. There's a whole number of reasons that somebody might have a desire to do you harm. The other thing is the ability. So there has to be proximity. I might want to do something to somebody I see walking, 4 blocks away, but until I'm right next to that person, there's nothing I can do. So ability is just proximity and having the capability to do it. The third one is opportunity. So just having the opportunity to do what they wanted to do. This is the only part of this triangle that you have control over, is your opportunity piece. You can't control somebody's desire to want to do you harm. You can't control the ability because you're going to be where you are. You can't not live your life. You have to live your life. You have to be out there. You have to be doing all that. So you can't control any of that. But what you can control is what opportunities you give people to do you harm. And that's what we'll be talking about today. I'm going to give you 3 general things to think about, and then we'll talk about safety at home, safety in your vehicle, safety when you're out in public. And then we'll leave some time for some questions. So 3 basic rules. These apply anywhere that you are. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. 3 basic rules. The first one, stay alert and stay confident. Always know about your surroundings. Problem is we go about our lives, and what happens is we tend to just develop patterns in our lives. Like I go to the same grocery store when I shop all the time. I hop in my car, I drive to the store, I get in the store, I do my shopping, and by the time I'm loading my groceries in my car, I'm going, how did I get here? You know, you're just not thinking about the things that you do, the routines that you do day in and day out. So what I would urge you to do is to take a step back and think about what you're doing. Maybe try a different store. Maybe go a different route. Drive a different vehicle. Just little things to change up your day keeps you alert, and it keeps you thinking about. The key is to be thinking about what you're doing constantly. The other key is to look confident, how you carry yourself. One of the first things that they taught us in police school is your command, they call it command presence. How to stand, how to look. I mean, look at these two. They look sharp. They walk in, you go, okay, I'm not going to mess with this. And the reason is because they look professional, they look sharp. I have a daughter who's 23 years old. My daughter is 5 foot, barely 5'1". She was very proud of the day she hit 5 feet. And she's going, I just don't, I feel like I'm so small. And I go, no, Lydia, you don't need to feel that way. When you're walking down the street, just stand tall. When you have somebody coming on, look them in the eye, and then look them up and down. Just as you're walking up, just look them in the eye, look them up and down. Greet them when they come, you know, because if you don't greet somebody, it looks like you're afraid of them. I'm always saying hi to everybody that I see. I see somebody walking down the sidewalk, I go, hello, and then have them say hello back. You know, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But those are the ways that you look confident and that you carry yourself confidently. There's been research done where researchers have taken videos of people, and then what they'll do is show those videos to people that are in jail, criminals, and the criminals will pick out the ones that they would do something to. And overwhelmingly, it has nothing to do with size. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's, I'm looking down, I'm shuffling, I'm moving, you know, I don't look confident. If somebody doesn't look confident, what you're doing is increasing that opportunity. Remember, that's the only thing you have control over is somebody's opportunity. So I would encourage you, when you're walking around, look confident, look forward. You know, the quick rule, look somebody in the eye, look them up and down, and then just greet them. 3 simple steps. Look in the eye, look up and down, greet them. And then it makes them less confident about what they're doing. Because the world's population is, what is it, 8-9 billion people? If I don't think this person's going to be an easy mark, guess what? I've got 8,999,000,000 whatever other people that I could try. And that's the basic premise of crime prevention, to make yourself less of a target, and then hopefully, like in your neighborhood or personally, the other people around you will do the same thing, and then people will just move on. People won't mess with people that look confident. So that's the first piece. Stay alert and confident wherever you are. Yes?
So if you've had like recent knee surgeries or whatever, and you can't walk confidently because of your surgeries, how do you then act confident?
Same way.
Looking up and down?
Yep, looking them up and down. My wife broke her leg, you know, and she had a cane and some crutches. Now she's off of that, but she hobbles. But I'll tell you what, you look at her, you won't mess with her. And she does that. She just looks people in the eye, and she just has this confident gait. Once again, it's not about size or anything like that. They're not sizing up, you know, they're not like a lion in a Serengeti with looking at gazelles going, okay, which one is going to be the slowest one? That isn't, they're looking at, is this person going to be a challenge for me? Even if I take something, are they going to be able to have what it takes to, you know, turn me to report it and give a good description and all that? So that's, even with a knee surgery or something like that, you can still look confident. And people know that. I mean, they see some gray hair, they see a hobble, it's like, okay, person has an injury, a hip or a knee, and that's not unusual, but that still doesn't dictate how confident you look. So good question, great question. Number 2, avoid risky situations. Trust your gut. So if you're pulling up to a place and it just seems dark and kind of weird, and you just get this feeling that this just doesn't even feel right, then don't do it. Go either leave, call the person you were going to visit, or don't go to that store. But just if you feel a situation is risky, don't do it. We'll talk a little bit about parking lots and lighting and those things a little later on. But just avoid risky situations. I will give you a couple examples of this from my children. So I have a 28-year-old son and a 23-year-old daughter. And when my son was in college, he got an internship with a brewery. And they were brewing a certain type of beer, and part of his job was to market the beers, like at events. So he needed to get some of that beer. And the brewery's up in Minneapolis, and he went to Franklin and Nicollet after dark to get this beer, and parked like across the street in a dark parking lot. And when he got out, he got robbed. And it was like, okay, what can we learn from this? And it was just, not using the best choice of avoiding risk. And my daughter moved down to Des Moines, Iowa. When she goes on a walk, she sends my wife and I a picture of what she's wearing with the back of her car with the license plate. Nice. Yeah, and so there's just different levels of situational awareness. She's very, very keen about her surroundings and what's going on and who she's seen, and all kinds of stuff like that. So just avoid risky situations, and you'll know them when you feel them. And then the last one, have a plan. Situational awareness. Right now, if something happened in this building, I know I have 2 ways out. I would go out that way. If something was happening over here, if I heard something over there, I would go out that way. I know that. I can get out. In just having situational awareness about where you are. When you sit down to eat at a restaurant or something, where are the exits? Where would I go? If there were a fire in here, how would I get out? If all of a sudden I was confronted with a situation, what would I do? How could I get out of here? Constant situational awareness. Where are you? Who's around? Paying attention to who's around you. And then how can you get out? Very important. It's funny because, like, if I go out, I still have that mindset where I don't like to have my back towards the door. It's like if us 3 went out for lunch or something, I would defer to these 2. But it would be very uncomfortable to have my back where I can't see people and see who's coming in. And I'll be sitting there having lunch with somebody and constantly looking up and then doing this number, and they're going, what's going on? Oh, nothing, just looking around. So always be aware of who's around you, what your surroundings are, and just understand and have a plan. I put a website down there, www.ready.gov. That's a way, if you're into the internet and you have access, you could go to that website, and they give great tips about how to stay safe. They have some good stuff with run, hide, fight in situations. It's a great resource. So those are 3 basic rules. It doesn't matter where you are or who you're with. Follow these 3 rules, and you will do well. Some more specific things, safety out in public. There's strength in numbers. Go in groups. I mean, you got this great TRIAD group. You got a great senior center here. You have friendships. There's no reason to do something alone when you can do it with somebody else or a group of people. I really encourage you, if you're going to go out and do things, do them in groups. There's strength in numbers. Again, somebody's going to look at a group of 3 people and go, not going to bother. They'll look at one person and go, okay, does this look like a potential target? So that is a way that you can reduce that opportunity for somebody, is to just do strength in numbers. It's always better, and it's more fun with a group too. Stay in well-lit, high-visibility areas. This is back to the situational awareness and avoiding risk. If you're going to go try a new place and you roll up to it in your vehicle and you go, okay, this just seems really secluded and dark. I don't feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, follow that, listen to that, and just listen to your body going, okay, this is not right. Years ago, my wife and I went with some friends to Jamaica, and we were staying in it was a tower, and then they had a gate and everything. So we went outside the gate, and we're just walking around Ocho Rios, looking around, and some guy comes up to us. He goes, hey, there's a great shopping center back here. My friend has a business. I'd love to show you it. We have really cool Jamaican stuff. You know, my buddy and I looked back, and we were kind of looking and going, that looks awful deserted. And I said, no, thanks. Why don't you just go get lost? Because we aren't going to go back there. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to bring us back there, lure us in, and then probably rob us, and maybe even worse, who knows. So just things like that. Stay in well-lit, high visibility areas. If somebody is trying to encourage you to go somewhere that you don't know, that is a really, really big sign that they want to do you harm. And they want to get you out of the way, and then they'll probably have other people waiting for you too. Let family and friends know where you're going, just like my daughter does with her walks. Selfie with what she's wearing in her back of her car with the license plate. We know where she is. And then she'll check in when she's done with her walk. Real simple. Takes her 10 seconds total to do that. It's not intrusive. It's not like we're hovering and watching her on a map with every step, but we know where she is and we know what she's up to, and she feels more safe and secure. So same thing. Let friends and family know where you're going. My mom, she would always call. At one point when she lived up in Little Falls where I grew up, and I lived down here, we were 2.5 hours away. And she would still call and go, oh, Louise and Rita and I are going to go out, this afternoon, and we're going to go to St. Cloud or whatever and do some stuff. She would always do that. So I knew that if all of a sudden I didn't hear from her, at least where to start looking. So let people know where you're going. Never carry more than is necessary. The basic rule is only carry what you're willing to lose. If you are a purse carrier or a bag carrier, I would say leave that alone, leave that at home. That is something that somebody will see an opportunity there and grab. Grocery stores are really a high-risk area for purses. So what do you do when you go to the grocery store? You grab your cart. Where do you put your purse? Where do you put it?
In the front.
In the front on the cart.
But I try and
strap it in.
arm around it or whatever, usually.
Yeah, yep. Usually, yeah, it's not a. And what'll happen is it'll take just a second. Somebody will bump into you. They'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me," and then their partner will come up behind you, grab your purse, and walk away, and you won't even know it probably for another 10 minutes, because all of a sudden you look and go, "Oh, my purse was in there, but now it's gone." So just never carry more than is necessary. My wife has gone down to this small little wallet thing where she puts her, her driver's license, her credit card, and some cash, and that's what she carries. And she can put it around her neck or put it in her pocket, and she doesn't carry she has a purse. She has, I don't know how everything that's in there fits in there, but she has a purse. But like if we're going to the grocery store or going out, she doesn't take it. It sits most of the time. Never carry more than necessary, and never carry more than you're willing to lose. So, if you tend to carry $300 cash on you in your wallet, be prepared to lose $300 cash. If you just have enough to get some lunch and a coffee and go to the hardware store and pick up what you need, just carry that. Stay alert at ATM machines. Whether you're in your car or whether sometimes I've walked up to an ATM machine. We have one that's like about 1.25 miles from our house, and I'll go walk over there to get cash. But at any rate, look around, pay attention. When I was in Apple Valley, we had somebody that he was a serial robber. He would do a lot of robberies. And he did some at ATM machines, because most of the time people are just pulling up. And once again, what is it? It's routine. I pull up to the machine, I take my card out, I stick my card in, I do this. You're just thinking about the routine, and you lose sight of that situational awareness, and you won't see somebody walking up to your vehicle and then all of a sudden they're right at your door with a gun to your head. Where if you saw them coming, you could actually pull away and leave. Because if it doesn't feel right, you're going to do that. So just really pay attention in those situations. Cell phones. We were talking about cell phones earlier. Carry a fully charged cell phone and know how to dial 911 on it. When my parents first got a cell phone, this is years and years and years ago, I was saying they kept it in their trunk. I'm going, okay, hey, let's go fire that up and make a call. Battery's dead. So they just put it in the trunk. So if you have a cell phone, keep it with you. Know how to call 911 on it. What happens when you're in a high-stress situation? Your fine motor skills go away. That has nothing to do with age. It's just stress and its impact on the human body. On the Carleton campus, we have blue phones, big red button, push big red button, talk. When you're under stress, that's about all you're going to be able to do. So if you feel like you're in a dangerous situation, it's going to be really difficult to to pull your cell phone out, unlock your cell phone, go to the phone function, go to the little keypad. Oh, I just called our security place. Go to the little keypad, dial 911 and hit send. That's going to be very difficult. If you have an iPhone, I am not familiar with Android devices, but if you have an iPhone and you have this top button here and the single button and you push those at the same time, you get a SOS. I hit that, it'll go to 911. Dispatcher will get it. They'll let these folks know that I need help. That's simple. So learn those features on your phone. We were talking because I said there is so much on this phone that I'm not even close to even knowing it's there to be able to use it. But that feature is the one that I practice and I know the most.
Can you say, hi, Siri?
You can. I wouldn't rely on that to work.
Why?
Because,
I use it a lot.
yeah, I understand that. But once again, if you have somebody shouting at you and you're trying to go, hey Siri, call 911, I would just do whatever you can do physically. So yeah, I would really recommend. You could.
Services on speaker.
No.
Oh, gosh.
I will not then.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, it would work. Yeah. It would definitely work.
I just didn't want to try it.
Yeah, well, now we've tried it and we know. Apparently it gives you 4 seconds. Whew, that was close. But just carry it. If you have a cell phone, carry it, have it fully charged, and just know the quickest, easiest way to call 911. So it's a personal choice if you want to have a cell phone. If you don't have one and you're going, there's no way I'm going to get one, you're probably happier than most of the rest of us. So nothing wrong with that either. So safety in your vehicle. When you're choosing a parking spot, park in a visible spot as close to the building as possible. But highly visible spot. I love when I park, I will park under a light stanchion. For 2 reasons. Number one, it'll help me remember where my car is because I just have to look for the light stanchion and go to that. But if it gets dark out, and in Minnesota, I mean in the winter, it's getting dark at 3:30, 4 o'clock, I have lighting that's directly down to. Criminals don't like light. They don't like it at all. So if you can put yourself in an area where you're well lit, do that. Park in a well lit area close to lighting if it will be dark. Leave your valuables out of sight. if you have to keep your purse or a computer or a satchel in the vehicle, keep it in the trunk. Keep it out of sight. Criminals, I tell my kids this. So when you leave change in your car, I don't care if there's 75 cents in there, somebody will break a window and take it. If your car is clean, they're going to look in there and they're just going to move on. But if they see something that's value and worth stealing, they'll do it. And the number of people that, my purse was in my car overnight, I parked it outside because my garage is full. I've seen financial brokers have briefcases with all their client information stolen. I just read something. The number one source of stolen guns is guns stolen from vehicles now. The number one source. The most prolific access for stolen guns is out of vehicles. And I don't understand that because, just keeping a gun in a vehicle doesn't make sense unless you have a bolted down safe in there. Law enforcement vehicles have that. But yeah, to just put a gun in a vehicle doesn't make any sense. But people will steal stuff out of there and they'll take the opportunity. So leave your valuables out of sight. When you're approaching your vehicle, be ready to enter with your key in hand. Scan the interior of the vehicle before getting in. This is a little outdated. Okay, I got one of those vehicles I got my key fob on me right here. If I walk up to my vehicle and touch the door handle, it unlocks. But if you don't have that feature, have your key fob in your hand, ready to go when you get out there. Don't unlock it before, because if somebody is, then they'll have access to it. But just when you get close enough to the car, unlock it. Be ready to enter it. It's not the time to pull your key out, unlock it. Oh, I got to check if I still have that receipt from the hardware store, because I might have to return that seal I got. Oh, let's see if it's in my wallet. Oh, yeah, gosh. Yeah, there's that note from Jim. I got to call Jim when I get there. Don't be doing that. Just open the door, get in, shut the door, and lock it. That's the best way to protect yourself getting to and from your car. That's where you're most vulnerable, is going to and from your car. So pay attention to that. Scan the interior of the vehicle before getting in. Just give it a look. Just a quick look. I always approach my vehicle, look in the back seat, look in the front before I get in. Once you're in, somebody comes up and knocks on your window, don't open the door. You can roll down the window about an inch or two to talk to them as you're pulling out. But your vehicle, if you have just a straight up car, it's about 3,200 pounds. If you have a pickup truck, I don't know, what's the weight on a pickup truck these days? It's heavy. Okay, you're gonna win every time. You do not have to sit and talk to somebody. It's incredibly odd for you to be in a parking lot and for somebody to come up and knock on your window and want to talk to you. You look at them, okay, that isn't my best friend Bob. I don't even know who this person is. Start the vehicle up, back out. Wave as you walk away. But if you do want to engage with somebody or at least hear what they have to say, roll down your window about an inch, and what can I help you with? Oh, I need some help looking for my dog. Okay, well, see you later, bye. Just pay real close attention to that. Don't open the doors for everyone. If you feel you're being followed, drive to a public place with lots of people and light. Probably the best bet is going to be a convenience store. They're open late, they're well lit, there's people there, there's always going to be a clerk there, there's always going to be somebody there that's going to want to help you. So drive to a public place, call 911. Whatever you do, don't go home. Home is the last place you want to go. I've had this happen where I'm going, okay, I'm driving like even around Lakeville at night, and I go, this car's been behind me the whole way. I won't go home. I'll just go drive someplace and maybe I'll take the opportunity to stop and get gas and just see if they stick around. So once again, if you're starting to feel like something's not right, that means something's not right. You don't have to go to any extreme, just don't go home and go make a stop before you go home. The other thing, like people will go, pull up to the police department or the sheriff's office. So let me ask you folks, it's 6:30 on a Friday night. Who's going to be at your sheriff's office?
6:30 at night, well, we have dispatch that'll overlooks the front door,
Yeah.
and we got cameras in the rotunda.
Is there going to be anybody that's just immediately there and able to help you?
Depend. Yeah, the police might have a sergeant downstairs that can come up, but it's going to take a couple minutes.
Yeah, because so our very first police department in Apple Valley was at the corner of 142nd Street and Cedar Avenue. And so we would often go down 142nd Street to Galaxy. And it's funny because every once in a while you'd talk to people in the neighborhood, oh, I love it that the police department's there. And you're right there. And it's like, nobody's there. It's like we're all driving around here taking care of stuff. So unless it's regular business hours, the police department might make a good place to go if you've called 911, but just don't rely on there being somebody physically there to help you. You may have to wait just as long as if you.
We have a phone that they can pick up.
Yeah.
After hours, the front doors are locked in the rotunda. They pick that up and say, hey, I need a safe, secure place. They'll let them in and lock the doors behind them.
There you go.
And then police will come.
Okay.
We've had that happen.
All right.
It's,
Well, that's a good word.
yeah.
So yeah, it is. There is a
But I
way
can't
that you can
talk
do that.
about everybody's station.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what everybody else does. So.
All right, yeah. Just if it's after hours, there might not be anybody physically there. Sheriff's office is a little different because you have dispatchers and you have people monitoring. When I was in Apple Valley, it was you picked up the phone and you got the Dakota 911 Center, which is miles away in Rosemount. And if it's 6:37 at night, chances are there's no one physically in the building. But it's a little different in every place. But the point is, don't go home, call 911, find a well-lit place to go to. Safety at home, two more slides here, two more topics. First one, safety at home. Keep your doors and windows locked. It's real easy in a place, especially if you've lived in a place for 30 or 40 years. And yeah, I just leave my door open. There's nothing going on here. Yeah, lock your doors and lock your windows, especially if you're not home. I lock my doors, like if I'm gonna go out in our yard and mow or do work or whatever, I'll shut our garage door, lock our front doors. Because all it takes is a minute for somebody to just walk in, grab something, and walk out. Store your valuables in a non-conspicuous location. If you have like jewelry, cash, documents, and you keep it in your master bedroom, that's one of the first places the burglars go look, is the master bedroom. And they'll ransack it and they'll find the stuff. Find a place that's not conspicuous. Freezer was a really good idea back when people started hiding stuff in the freezer. It's not a good idea now because every criminal knows that, okay, if there's nothing in the master bedroom, I'm gonna go to the freezer and check there. So a safe or a locked space is the best. We have a safe at home. I have a room in the basement that's locked and secured with a door. That's where a lot of our valuables are. Lighting. Use motion sensor lighting outside. Remember, I just a few minutes ago told you this. Criminals don't like what?
Light.
They don't like light. So the more that you can light, the better. So if you use motion sensor lighting outside, use light timers inside. At our house, we have a living room and a family room. They both have light timers. The lights go on at different times. They go off at different times. It creates a real lived-in look. If you're going to be gone, it's not unusual to go to another place for a while. If you're going to be gone for an extended period, cancel the newspaper delivery. So I told you about our trip to Jamaica. I did everything right. I canceled the newspaper, forwarded the mail, had a neighbor come. I arranged with a neighbor to come and shovel if it snowed while we were gone. When I got home from Jamaica, what was at the front stoop? 7 days worth of a newspaper that I didn't order. It was, the newspaper was doing a promo that week. So I'm going, how does this happen? I was so mad because I'm going, I did everything right and here's 7 newspapers piled up on my front step because the newspaper decided to do a promo that week. I'm just going, this is just not right. Whoops. So yeah, cancel the newspapers, have your mail held. At a minimum, have a neighbor or friend pick it up, but otherwise go to the post office and say, just hold it, I'll come and pick it up when I get back. Have someone check on the house and arrange for mowing or snow removal. If you're going to be gone for 2 or 3 weeks, have somebody mow your yard. Have somebody on hand to remove the snow. You just want to make the house look lived in if you're not going to be there. That's the basic thing. And keep those light timers on, keeps people guessing. Those are some things for safety at home. And fraud safety. This does nothing to do with personal safety, but the same triangle applies: ability, opportunity, those things. Common scams for senior citizens. Government impersonation. Somebody will present themselves as the IRS, a police officer, a firefighter. It is not unusual. I get these all the time. Hey, would you like to give to our police department benevolent fund? Tell me about your organization. Oh, we're a nationwide organization that when you give us money, we support the police. We send it right to your local police department. I bet you do. It's like, no, we have a local foundation. I support through that. No, thank you. But they will present themselves. The IRS is a very common one. You know your tax situation. You know what's paid and what's not paid. Leave that alone. Another one, sweepstakes and lottery. You just won this lottery that you never entered. And all we need to get you your award is your credit card number so we can credit the winnings into that credit card number. Don't do it. That's a very common scam. Robocall and phone scams. There's a couple ways these happen. First off, we just ignore. Like my cell phone, I can program it that if the number isn't in my contacts, it goes straight to voicemail. At home, we have a landline. We very seldom pick it up unless it's somebody that we know that's calling. Most people will call on the cell phones. But for the robocall people, what will happen is you'll pick up and they'll go, hello, who is this? Oh, this is John. And then it just ends. Well, guess what? They have my voice going, this is John. Guess who they're going to call next? They're going to call my brother. And, hi, this is John. And then with the rest of the recording. And so they'll do that to capture your voice. But the other thing that you'll get is, and we'll go to the grandparent scam in a second, but you'll get, the more that you talk, the more that they have information about you. So just if it's a phone number you don't recognize, just don't go there. Computer tech support, this is a very common one. This is Joe from Microsoft. We notice that you have some issues with your computer. There's been a breach and we need to fix it. So if you just do these simple steps, you'll give us access to your computer and we'll fix everything and we'll be done. Don't do it. If you have a problem with your computer, you'll call and initiate that. So basically, just don't answer stuff that you didn't initiate. There's so many ways people can scam. And the last one is the grandparent scam. Hi, this is, yeah, Grandma, Grandpa, this is your grandson. Joey? Yeah, Joey. Yeah, I'm in jail. Why are you whispering? Nobody can hear about this. I need bail money. If they don't get the bail money, I'm going to be stuck in jail. I'm really lonely and I don't like it in jail. Grandma, Grandpa, can't you help me? And people do it.
You're wrong, you stay there overnight.
Yeah, but that's, people will do that, and it's anything. I got one. I literally got one, and I was at work in Apple Valley, and it was like, we have your wife. What do you mean you have my wife? We were in a car accident that she caused, so we grabbed her out of the vehicle, and we have her in a safe location. She's just fine, but you're going to have to pay to get her back. Going, okay. So, which car? What do you mean, which car? Which car was she driving? The red sedan. Oh, okay, yeah, the red, we don't have a red sedan. Oh, the red sedan, well, at least that's a cheaper car. Is it damaged much? Well, not really, but does that matter? Well, yeah, I'm curious. So where can we go meet to get her? And then they just, once you started asking some of those questions, they just hung up. But they'll do that. And they'll create, and what they'll do is they'll ask you questions, you'll give the answers, and then what it does is it builds your confidence that it sounds like they know who it is. And I never told this person my wife's name, and they could never tell me. So it's like, okay, that's a scam. So those are the common scams. One thing that's very typical for scammers, they typically use high pressure tactics and require secrecy. So if it's this has to be taken care of in the next 20 minutes, or I don't know what's going to happen to your nephew or niece or grandchild or spouse, when you start hearing that, the basic thing with negotiations is always to slow things down. So if they have pressure, they're scamming you. They're just trying to get you to make an impulsive decision based on emotion, not on reason. When you start making impulsive decisions based on emotion, if you ever did business, when you make a business deal based on emotion, it just hardly ever works out. And the other piece is they'll require secrets. You can't tell anyone. You need to just not tell anybody about this. This is very private. I don't want mom and dad knowing, or whatever. Basic rules with this fraud stuff. If it's too good to be true, be skeptical. If it's like, wow, I can give you $10,000 and get a 5.8% return on investment. Wow, that sounds fabulous. Where do I send the money? Don't. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. The government does not take payment in gift cards. The IRS does not take payment in gift cards or those green dot cards at Walgreens. They don't. There's no government agency that takes any. So if it's like, okay, I need you to go to Walmart and buy these gift cards and then send the numbers to this place and your tax bill will be taken care of, that isn't the way the government works. Legitimate businesses and the government send letters. If the IRS wants to get a hold of you, they'll do it by letter. If Social Security wants to get a hold of you, they'll do it by letter. And if your local police department wants to get a hold of you, they'll either just show up or they'll send you a letter. It's just that the government does not work by text and green cards. Do not provide personal information over the phone or internet unless you initiated the call. We talked about that earlier. If you didn't call somebody, you don't need to talk to them. It's very hard. The scammers rely on this. It's this, I don't want to be rude, so I'm going to talk to you. And the more you talk, the more engaged you get. So they're relying on you not wanting to be rude. And that's how they'll perpetrate the fraud.
Just to piggyback off that just a little bit, if you get a pop-up on your computer that you're not expecting that says, this is Microsoft, you need to call this number, your computer's been hacked, do not call that number. Shut your computer off. It'll probably say, do not shut your computer off. Shut your computer off. Do not call that number.
Yeah, very good advice. So that's all I have for you this morning.